Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Today it is actually afternoon in the Netherlands and in the United Kingdom. So welcome to RickyVillaTV and welcome to Simon. Always good to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Absolutely freezing up here in Teesside, but it's not peeing it down or anything, so
it's very cold over here and it's raining and yeah. I've had the week from hell at work and I'm on call this weekend and now we got problems at one of our buildings, as I told you earlier. So there is a possibility I may be called away, but I'm hoping they'll be able to deal with it.
I bet it's in the 89th minute.
when we've got a penalty, yeah.
We'll just be like, nope.
No, sorry, mate, can't make it. Do apologise. But first of all, I'd like to give another big shout out to Kev. He's not feeling very well again today. Got some, well, for the week, he's got some issues with his back and his shoulders. And we hope you get well soon, Kev.
Get well soon, mate. Always
missed. You know, it's always good to have you on here. So get well soon. Right, so Spurs versus Villa. I did have a predicted lineup, but we've actually already got the lineup. So
yeah, Big Ange just text me the lineup there.
I'm going to read that one out. It's a bit of a surprise to me.
I love
it. Vicario, Porro right back, Royal and Davis in the middle. Is that a bit of a recipe for disaster? No, unfortunately, that reboot, Simon, it hasn't worked. It's still a lot of. Oh no, there we go. Seems to be better now.
Sorting itself out.
I don't know what the problem is. There's probably a problem with the Wi-Fi around here. Udogie left back, Bentancur, Lo Celso in the middle, Hill, Kulusevski, Johnson, and Son. So, what do you think about that then?
How did that match up with your predicted one?
My predicted one was Dyer and Davis in the middle, Højbjerg and Sarr and Bentancur midfield, Kulu, Johnson and Son. So I'm well out.
Well, two or three. I'm overjoyed. Yeah, Big Ange just texted me the lineup there. Yeah, look. Big Ange.
Can't see that. Oh, good stuff.
I've made no Dyer. Love it.
But Royal in the middle?
In the middle, yeah. Well, it's an unknown, isn't it? Like, it might be all right. I mean, it's obviously something they've been working on this week, well, these past 2 weeks, whatever. So, yeah, and surprised to see Hill up front as well. So
yes, yeah, that might be interesting. Royal, I was having a look the other day because I thought he was a bit taller than Davis, but I think they're about the same. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting. He's got decent heading ability, isn't he?
Yeah. What's up with Sarr? Is Sarr in there? Sarr's name there?
No, he's not. Because he had a knock as well, didn't he? Yeah, so he's injured.
I didn't think it was much of anything, that knock, but
yeah. Well, we've only got 8 players on the bench.
Is Sarr on there?
No, he's not. No, Dorrington, Velez, and Donnelly are there. Højbjerg, Skip, Dyer, and then 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah,
Forster and Austin. I don't know why he hasn't put Noel John on there or something like that. That would have been good. But
Skip? What's up with Skip?
No, well, he's on the bench, but yeah, I'm quite surprised by Bentancur and Lo Celso in the middle. I think that's
something to prove, isn't it? It's like Hill up front. Everybody's got something to prove. He hinted at this a couple of weeks ago, you know, in terms of sticking to the whole thing of everybody's an equal footing. They're all doing well in training. They're all, you know, will be given opportunities. And he's reiterated that this week with Skip, basically saying, you know, he's been working well with us and he's fighting for opportunities. So, and he again reiterated the whole thing about, you know, we're building something and we're at the start of that. building something.
Yeah.
So, and that was probably a hint about the January transfer window, which we'll probably come on to later. But we're, I totally agree with that. We're building. Everybody's getting an opportunity. It's good because I don't know about you. Before Big Ange came in, I'd kind of discounted, Lo Celso and Hill and the fringe players. But it's good that he's bringing them back in because I really like them as players. I think they can be very exciting. It's the consistency, isn't it? Really.
Yes. Yeah. Something we should probably go to before we talk a little bit more about it is, unfortunately, Terry Venables has passed away this morning at the age of 80. We have a couple of comments. One from Mark Swift. Nice to see you, Swifty. Hope you're well, mate. R.I.P. Terry Venables. Great guy, very sad day. He did certainly make that early 90s team rather exciting, didn't he? And he did all right for you boys in 1996 as well, didn't he? So,
yeah.
And Alan, good to see you, Alan. As always, R.I.P. El Tel, one of the best managers ever. Yeah, it's just a shame he wasn't so good at managing his finances. Anyway, we won't go on to that.
He's given us the 91 FA Cup, hasn't he? With that great team. I don't think a manager like that exists anymore, and certainly if they did, they won't get on well in the Premier League. But what glory days, eh?
Yeah.
Just what a great personality as well. You look at Lego Man in charge of the Gooners, and you look at El Tel, and it's just a different fucking league, isn't it? It's a different league of personality and everything.
Yeah. There is no personality in Lego Head with Lego Head. He's he thinks he's the best at everything. He's massive narcissist, that bloke.
And do you know what, Venables? What a great life, hey? What a great life. Good playing career.
Yeah.
Looks like it's before my time, but it looks like he basically chose where he wanted to play, sticking around the London area. I'm sure he must have offered offers from all over the place. And then, great managing career, and then settled in Spain and just lived the life. Lived a great life. From what I've been reading, he would do, go on chat shows and just be this kind of media personality doing singing and all sorts of stuff. Brilliant.
He did love to sing, didn't he? Sing that Golden Balls record.
Yeah.
David Beckham.
Yeah.
But he was one of the old breed, wasn't he? Charismatic. A great manager, as Alan said. Wasn't so sure about his tactics all the time. But he was a bit like Ozzy Ardiles, wasn't he? It always seemed to be attack. We never had any decent defenders at that point.
No.
But so R.I.P. Big Tel. And some breaking news from Alan Sibley. News today claims that Jose wants Dyer.
Take him.
You'll drive him there.
I will. I'll drop him off from a plane.
So let's get back onto Spurs versus Villa. This is going to be a tough one today. They've got Unai Emery, apart from his slight, which wasn't really a blip, but his slight blip on his rap sheet on his CV at the Gooners. He did really well when he went back to Spain. Was it Villarreal or Valencia?
Villarreal, I think.
Villarreal, yeah. And now he's come back to Villa and he's got them playing some really nice football. Ollie Watkins up front looks really good. That Buendia guy. Who's the other one?
Musa Diaby.
Kamara, is it? The guy they bought from Inter. He's doing really well. It's going to be a tough one today.
Yeah, it's when you look at it on paper, like recently, they've been doing more or less a carbon copy of us, in terms of results and stats and everything. Historically, I never take notes of this guy. I hate when commentators do it, but we haven't. They've been a kind of our bogey team in recent years, but it's completely different, obviously, team manager and everything like that. It's got draw written all over it. I mean, Alan, yeah, we can't be confident with the injuries we've got. What's happened to us recently, we can't be confident about any game, to be honest. But it's got draw written all over it. But I don't want to draw. I'm thinking, yeah, we'll come on to predictions later. But everyone's predicting a draw, and I'm like, yeah, don't want it. Don't want to draw. It might be right, but I don't want one.
I think I'm with Alan on today's game. There's too many square pegs in round holes for me. I'm not sure. Hopefully everybody's bought into Postecoglou's ethos, and but I just think there'll be a drop in performance because these guys a lot of them are second teamers. A lot of them are reserves, and missing Madison, missing Basuma in the middle, obviously the two centre backs. Is it going to be a bridge too far?
That's the thing. Like, you know, thanks, Mark. All good. Thanks, Mark. I hope you're good. There's going to be gaps in there, and they're not a great side, Villa, but they've got the personnel to expose our gaps when they happen. And I feared the worst, you know, this morning, kind of looking at it, thinking about that, thinking, oh my God, you know, like it could be a thrashing if they play their cards right, if you've got Dyer, but Dyer's not in. So I'm a little bit more hopeful that, you know, that's why I'm concerned about Sarr, because I was hoping Sarr might be playing because, you know, well, I spoke about it last time we did this, about that great, just using one example of the stuff that he does, of the footage in the last game where he just ran from the halfway line back into our own box to header away that header that was out of nowhere, and it's brilliant. It's like that. It's like I said before, it's like Bugs Bunny. It's like here, there, and everywhere. And we need that today. We need that today of all days, just to plug those gaps. And I don't know. You know, let's give Royale a benefit of the doubt. He might do a good job there in the middle. You never know.
What's up, Al? That doesn't sound good, mate. Hope things get better for you.
Yeah.
I was going to say about the Sarr thing. That was a little bit Ledley King-esque. I don't know if you remember that tackle that he made on, what was his name, Iron Robin against Chelsea. Just came out of nowhere, sprinted back, even though his knees were knackered.
Yes.
And did that tackle. But yeah, as he was just, you know, he wasn't anywhere, and he just all of a sudden he just ran in, and there he was to head the ball away. So
saved a certain goal. It was a certain goal, wasn't it? So
yeah, nice one, Swifty. So it's Emerson Royale doesn't have a lot of speed, but I think compared to Dyer, he's like Linford Christie. So we'll see how that him and Davis goes in the back four. Porro and Udogie. I'm wondering if he's going to have to. Someone said on Match of the Day, if he's going to have to compromise a little bit on the way that he plays today, Postecoglou. But I don't think he will he?
No, he's already. Somebody asked him a very similar question in the press conference, and he was like, no, mate. He's like, tell you what, mate. Because this is what he sounds like. I'm doing Ange Postecoglou. Tell you what, mate.
I thought you were doing Borat. Sorry.
He's like, tell you what, mate. It's like, you know, we at the start of building something here, and I'm not going to let short-term results, you know, dissuade us from the long-term goal. You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, stick another one on the Barbie, mate. No, you didn't. And I completely agree. You know, the whole thing about this is what every team wants, of course, is consistency. And, you know, you have to, whether it's the way you play or whatever, both individually and team-wise, corporately, you know, you've got to be consistent. and that's what Ange will do. I'm more excited thinking about this lineup. Yeah, I'm more excited about up front because, like I said, we'll come on to predictions later. But I reckon Sonny will score today because I think he needs to. He's third in the top scorers list of the Premier League, but there's a bit of a gap opening up. So I think he'll be keen to close that gap on the top two. But behind him, we've got Hill, Kulu, and Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't score with one of my three most creative players you've ever seen behind you, then blimey. I think there's going to be loads of opportunities for Son today. Loads. And, especially with Hill, of course, we'll probably, what do you reckon, Kulu's sticking to where he always is, and then Hill on the left, maybe?
From what they've got on my football app, they got Kulusevski in the middle and Hill on the right. So I don't think I've ever seen Hill play in the middle. I'm not sure about Johnson either. So I think that's probably likely.
Johnson on the left. Johnson on the left. Johnson
on the left. Yeah,
because they're not. He scored from there, didn't he? No, sorry, he gave that assist, didn't he?
Yeah, but they're not going to swap Kulusevski and Lo Celso in centre midfield, are they? Because Lo Celso's quite good as an attacking midfielder. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But we got another comment from Mark today saying, I don't see us winning this one. Hope that I'm wrong. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. It's definitely going to be a tough one. So let's move on. Score predictions. Alan and Mark, you want to get involved with this? Please do. Simon, what do you reckon?
Yeah. So I'm thinking the same as what Alan's about to predict there. I'm thinking 2-1 to us. And Sonny with 2. I think it's going to be laid on a plate for him today. It's going to be no like Sonny classic bangers, curling into the top right from 30 yards out or anything. It will literally just be like we've been scoring recently. Johnson and Hill and Kulu and everybody creating, and Bentancur as well, of course. Creating behind him, and all he'll have to do is make his own space and then tap it in. Yeah. That's where I see it going.
Yeah. Well, Alan's predicting 2-1 to Villa, and Mark is predicting a 2-0 to Villa. I actually think, I'm now looking at this lineup from Villa, and I think they're going to go 3-5-2 because they've got Torres, Carlos, and Konsa, who are centre backs. And then they got Digne and Cash, who are fullbacks. Then McGinn, Luis, Kamara. So, maybe Kamara will play as an attacking midfielder. So McGinn and Luis in the middle, central midfield. Kamara as an attacking central midfielder. But then again, this Diaby guy, is he a forward? I just thought he was a midfielder.
Yeah, he's.
He plays right wing as well. Yeah, okay.
Got him last summer, didn't they?
Yeah. So
he's done all right.
Yes. Yeah. No, he's looked pretty good. I think that was the guy I was talking about, not Kamara, because they've had Kamara for a while, haven't they? It's Diaby, the guy who came from Inter Milan. So I think they're playing quite an attacking lineup. So that'll be interesting. I'd say that'd be interesting if we had a full first team out, that we'd probably spank them. But I am going to go for 2-1 Villa. And I think that Sonny will probably score the goal because this is a real makeshift team. The momentum or the train seems to have come off the tracks a little bit. I'm not giving up yet, obviously, but...
Am I the only one with optimism around here, for fuck's sake?
Funnily enough, a few seasons ago, I used to be really, really optimistic, even when we were shit. But I don't remember us having an injury list like this since probably the time we had to put Niall Fenn and Rory Allen in against Man United up front, who were 2 reserve team forwards. And that was, that must have been around about El Tel times. Maybe no.
Right, I disagree with the whole train coming off the tracks thing, right? You look at the last couple of losses, right?
Yeah.
Completely exceptional circumstances with the Chelsea game. The score just did not reflect the game at all. And we got, almost every fan stayed behind and got a standing ovation for the team.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's because of performing well in adverse circumstances, in those circumstances.
Yep. No,
we did well on the Chelsea game on the day, and now we've had time to adjust to it and make plans and training and all that. I think the train's still well on the tracks. It's just that extra 20-30% of quality that we're missing because the biggest miss I think is Maddison, purely because you look at, again, Villa are so. It's why a lot of people are predicting a draw. Villa are so alike us, so similar to us, and they've got like a good playmaker in the midfield there, like Maddison. So that's where we could come unstuck. But like I said, I'm an optimist. I think if you're Hill and you're Lo Celso, and even Bentancur, of course, then you'll be like, right, this is my time now. This is my time. I get to secure my place for the rest of the season right now.
When I said coming off the tracks a bit, I wasn't pointing any fingers at Ange, at Postecoglou. Sorry, I don't like calling him Ange because it reminds me of EastEnders and Dirty Den. So, but I just think because of the injuries that is why it's pulling into the station kind of slowly now, the train, isn't it? When we get everybody back, we're going to be great, but we still don't have the backup.
You're not just wrong. You can get out of my pub.
And here's some divorce papers, you slag. But yeah, Alan says, I'm loving your misplaced optimism. I wouldn't call it misplaced. I think it's just being optimistic.
If you're going to put optimism anyway, you'd put it towards Spurs, wouldn't you?
And Mark says, would you take a point now?
No, not at all, Mark. Let's just go for it. Don't forget, like, Mark, you're coming off the previous few seasons and the mentality of that. It's different attitude, positive mental attitude now, and the whole within the camp, and everybody's on a different kind of mindset. That's why we need to get rid of Dyer and the old school people, because they're still of that kind of attitude. You know what I mean? Then they struggle to fit in with it. Everything's changed now. You're all gonna be. I'm gonna message all of you and say, "Told you so." At 4:00. Nah. Yes, I am that childish.
Yeah, well, I'll probably be out in the rain on my way to that building, but I'll still take your message, mate. Don't worry.
You will.
Okay, so moving swiftly on. I did this. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to ask about getting replacements for elsewhere, but I think centre back is definitely one of the main issues that we have in regards to backup. Davis, I've always been a fan of his because he's reliable. He's able to play in different positions. I'm not saying that he's world class in any of them, but he always gives 110%. He just probably doesn't have the class that you need. So I would keep him as a backup. Dyer, I think, I'm not sure if he's been taken down a peg or two by Ange, because he came in against Chelsea and he played really well. So I think that centre-back is definitely something we need to concentrate on. So Alan has said we need reinforcements in January, time for Levy to act. Yes, that is very, very true. Mark said centre-back, yes, Levy can do one, I wish.
Yeah,
but that's fair enough. So I've put in some of the rumours for defenders. We've got Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth. Tosin, I won't try and pronounce his second name, from Fulham. Chalobah from Chelsea. Branthwaite from Everton. I think all of those are going to be relatively expensive. Gay is a full English international, so that is no chance. A few new ones that I've just seen. Malik Thiaw from AC Milan, Morata from Benfica, Gonçalo Inacia from Sporting Lisbon, and Sebastian Quereces from CF America in Mexico. Now, all of those players are, I think, 25 and under. So that would be interesting. Lloyd Kelly, I've seen play a couple of times. Nothing really stood out for me. He's not a regular in the Bournemouth side. Maybe they see something in him maybe the manager sees something in him that we don't. Tosin, from what I've heard, he wants to be guaranteed first-team football, and Monaco are going to make a bid for him in January. Who was the next one? Trevor Chalobah. Now, he's played a few times for Chelsea this season. I can't say he's actually stood out for me, and quite frankly, Chelsea's defensive record this season has been an absolute nightmare, apart from against us, as per fucking usual. Is there anyone else that you'd like to see, or anyone else that you've heard that perhaps we've been linked with?
Yeah, there is. Hang on, I've got it down somewhere. What about, the strongest rumor I've heard is with that Mark Grahey.
Yeah.
But why are you saying there's no chance? What do you mean?
Well, he's going to be very, very expensive because he's a full England international who's started the last few games. And I think he's under contract for a fair few years. And Palace, I'm sure that there was some problem we've had with them before in regards to transfers or something. So they're not likely going to say, oh, yeah, go on then, fellas, you can have him on the cheap. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to slap a 50, 60 million price tag on his head. And that's not going to happen. An interesting one is this Branthwaite guy from Everton. Now, he's just broken through this season, as far as I'm aware. And he's been one of the shining lights in a really miserable season for the Scousers. Obviously, with Everton's off-the-field issues and the points deduction, there's a possibility we could get him on the cheap, but I don't think it will be this season because they're going to want to keep him to give them a chance of staying in the Premier League. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's them and Arsenal who've never been relegated from the top division in England, as far as I know.
Well, no, Arsenal have.
No, I don't think they have. They were elected instead of us in God knows when, and they've never left it. They've never left. So,
two seasons back, I can't remember, 76 or something like that. Well, yeah. And so you're thinking we could do like a Madison and get them,
maybe on a cheap if they get relegated, but that's not going to solve our problem this season.
Yeah, well, the one I was looking at, I thought I had was actually a midfielder, a Roma midfielder, Cristante. Which we're looking to pay around 26 million for, so it looks like it'll be a backup. Yeah, okay. But that's not really needed, and he's not a defender either. So unless he's a defensive midfielder, but it depends, doesn't it? Like this comes down to personality, doesn't it? And what kind of an agent you've got as well, doesn't it, Jermaine Defoe? The thing is, you've got to have the right approach. And does Levy have the right approach? Well, sorry, not Levy. What's his name? Sean. And have the right approach and go into them and saying, you're going to probably play about half a dozen times a season. I mean, me and you'd be happy with that, obviously. But
I'd be happy to hand out the halftime oranges, mate. But
yeah.
But then, although they probably have Evian at halftime these days,
of course, yeah,
and Oz Douvries. But
I think you're right though. I think they'll, the way the game is these days, they'll probably just slap a heavy price tag on him, and that's it, game over. Isn't it? I
think it's also quite difficult to deal with teams in the Portuguese league. We did all right, I seem to remember, with Porro. Although I think we maybe overpaid a little bit for him. He is starting to pay that back, obviously. But I think in Spain and Portugal, they slap on a minimum release fee when they sign a player. And I think you have to do that. So a lot of the time they'll slap something ridiculous on. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get those two. But Sebastian Caraquez from CF America, he's an interesting one. He's a full Uruguay international and obviously plays with Bentancur. So you would have thought that after the reaction that Bentancur's been receiving recently, or always has received, is that he'll be in his ear saying, oh, it's a great club. Fans are brilliant. Manager's amazing. Chairman's an arsehole, but don't worry about that. And he's in the last year of his contract as well. So
good partnership.
Yeah, being in Mexico, they probably don't have that much pull. And I think we could probably get a deal done relatively cheaply.
Did Uruguay qualify for the World Cup?
I think they're still in qualifications, isn't it? Because it's the Euros that the qualifications are just finished. So it'll be the World Cup, or I don't know about the Copa America or whatever. But that'll be an interesting one to watch. I think I'm going to have to try and catch some Uruguay games to see what it looks like. Let me see if I can bring up some stats on the fella.
I mean, me personally, out of that list going across the bottom there, I really like Lloyd Kelly. I've seen him play a few times. Really like him. And that's the thing. It's like Bournemouth, I think, are going to become like... do you remember when Southampton were basically just the breeding ground for Liverpool players?
Yeah.
It just seemed like Liverpool could just cherry pick whenever they want, out of this garden that's growing down in Southampton. I think Bournemouth are going to be like that. With Lloyd Kelly, I really like him. I think he'd fit in well as well. He's got good ethic. And then we'd bring him here, as you all know, we'd bring him here, and then 3 weeks later, get an ACL injury, and then we'll sell him off for an eighth of what we bought him for. Yeah.
So this Caraquez guy, one thing that might be a little bit worrying about him is he's only 180 centimeters, so that's quite short for a centre back, isn't it?
It very much is. But mind you, Romero's not the tallest, and he's probably our best.
Yeah. 24 years old, right-footed, has played 111 times for CF America and 9 times for the Uruguayan team, so he only broke in last season. That's really all the information I have on him. I don't know if he's a hard tackler or whatever, but I think it'll be kind of interesting there.
I mean, it depends what Ange wants to do, doesn't it? Because if he's set, in his ways there, and he's like, right, I don't want to replace anyone or anything like that in terms of a backup, and we'll might just bring the answers through and say, right, injuries don't last forever, but I'll just pluck from the under 21s whenever I want as backup.
I think we need someone to replace Dyer, I would say. And maybe this Caraquez, Cachiris or whatever, however you pronounce it. I apologize if I've been pronouncing it wrong the whole day. Could be that option coming from Mexico. Probably his wages are not that big. Coming to the Premiership, that could be quite an interesting one. Phillips unfortunately got injured on England duty, so that's not great news. But Dorrington, I believe, is on the bench.
Yeah.
So I still think that's very interesting. Why are you putting 2 goalkeepers on the bench? It's very likely we're going to need more outfield players. But Niall John's been on the bench before. Santiago's been on the bench before. They're different options to what we have. We don't have a Santiago would have been perfect because we don't have a wing option on the bench. We've got, well, I don't know if Velez can play on the wing, but I know that Donnelly is very much a attacking midfielder or forward. So central attacking midfielder or forward. So it's.
I mean, Ange must be confident that there's going to be no injuries. I mean, Villa aren't a dirty side, so like Chelsea. So
I wouldn't agree with that. John McGinn and that what's his name, Luis Carlos or whatever his name is. They don't mind leaving their foot in every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean McGinn's great. I mean, I really like McGinn. He's a massively underrated player. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right, but not like intentional. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's going to be like any major injuries.
Yeah,
But you're right. Every tackle this afternoon, we're all going to be watching it, and we're all going to be going, "Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up!"
Don't get booked! Don't get booked!
Oh God, it's going to be. I cut my nails the other day like an idiot, and now I've got nothing to bite this afternoon.
All right then, mate. I think it's 20 minutes till kickoff. I need to go and grab something to eat. So, anything else you'd like to mention? What about the Defoe transfer?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's an agent thing, isn't it? And I don't know the ins and outs of it, but
apparently, what happened was Mitchell Thomas, who was a non-registered agent or a struck-off agent. I'm sure you remember him from the 90s.
Bit slow, but decent player.
Yeah. He was involved in it. And why they're dragging it up 15 years later, I think it's probably, that will give us a bit of a smokescreen so we can let Chelsea and Man City off because they gave us a nice big brown envelope. But, yeah, what do I know? Conspiracy theories, where's my foil cap?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I just want to say, fuck you, Guardiola, for coming out this week and saying, the Man City thing, it's different. It's different to the Everton thing, isn't it? It's just different. Oh, God, man. I'm arrogant to that bloke. And do you know what? Pisses me off more than most? He's probably right. He's going to get away with it. It's not him, obviously, but the club is probably going to get away with it. 117, is it?
Something like that.
Oh, boils my piss.
There seems to be a lot of people who are confident they won't get away with it, but I don't know where that confidence is coming from.
Well, they can't get away with it, can they? They just cannot get away with it.
They shouldn't.
But the big thing is the severity of the fine. Yeah, people look at Everton and you think, blimey, that's, for that, I got a Man City next season going to be playing in National League North, Oh God, I hope so.
They'd probably get more fans.
Yeah. People who actually live in Manchester can actually go to the games now because they're playing.
But I think that they're going to start dragging lots of stuff up. I haven't heard if there's other things happen to other clubs. I don't think it's gone really massive on Twitter, so other clubs are probably not aware of it, and we're maybe not aware of stuff that's being dragged up there. But it's always gone on. It's always been, you sign for us, we'll buy your dad a house, and nothing's really ethical in the world of football agents and transfers.
A lot of grey areas, and not just on my beard either. Yeah.
That's why I cut my hair, mate. Gordon Bennett. I'm looking like a silver fox at the moment.
I just want to shout out Porro there. I actually might be falling in love with Porro. I think he is these days the ultimate Spurs player. I mean, you look at him when he recent games where he wins tackles and he gets up and he's like, to the fans. Just I absolutely adore the guy. Like, he's quick, he's talented. If he loses the ball, he's on him within 3 seconds, getting the ball back. He delivers a great cross. If you could sum up, he's the archetypal Spurs player at the minute. If you could sum up Spurs, you put Porro forward and say, right, this is what we're about. He's not afraid to come out of position as well and cover and all this kind of stuff. So I think it's times like today. It's times like today where he shows up more than usual, which is a lot anyway. He'll show up and he'll win man of the match because he's saved the game for us, both in defence and attack. You mark my words. I'm calling it out now.
Yeah.
Player of the season.
Yeah, nice one. So, thank you very much for coming on today, Simon. Always a pleasure, never a chore, mate. And everyone who's watching, maybe for the first time, I sincerely doubt it, as it shows there's only 2 people watching, and I'm pretty sure one of those is me. But if you haven't, or if you're watching it later on, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell so you can be informed when we're on again. And lastly, leave you out and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.